Picture this, a crisp fall morning in Baltimore, the kind where the leaves in Patterson Park turn a fiery orange and the air smells faintly of crab cakes from the corner diner. Ruth Thompson, a 68-year-old retired elementary school teacher, steps out of her row house in Highlandtown, her gray sweater sagging over her shoulders, her wiry hair pulled into a messy bun that hasn't seen a comb in days. She's heading to her 50th high school reunion at the old gymnasium near Fells Point, a place she hasn't visited since the days when bell-bottoms were cool and her laugh could fill a room. She's excited, nervous, even, but mostly, she's hoping to feel alive again, to reconnect with the Ruth she used to be. But as she shuffles down Eastern Avenue, her knees creaking like an old wooden floorboard, something feels off. She catches her reflection in a storefront window's stooped shoulders, a face etched with lines deeper than the Patapsco River, eyes dulled by years of late-night TV and unspoken loneliness. "Who is that?" she mutters to herself, half laughing, half horrified. "When did I turn into a grandma?" Not that there's anything wrong with grandmas. Ruth loves her two grandkids, but this woman staring back at her looks a decade older than she feels inside. Or at least, older than she wants to feel. The reunion doesn't help. She walks in, expecting hugs and gasps of "you haven't changed a bit." Instead, she gets polite smiles and a gut-punching moment when her old classmate Linda, still spry, with a runner's bounce in her step, squints and says, "Ruth? Oh my goodness, I didn't recognize you." Linda's hair is dyed a vibrant auburn. Her skin glows like she's been bathing in some fountain of youth, and her energy? It's like she's 40, not pushing 70. Ruth forces a smile, but inside, she's crumbling. Then it gets worse. A younger woman, one of the caterers, rushes over with a tray of crab puffs and says, "Ma'am, are you here with your daughter?" Ruth freezes. Daughter? She's alone. The caterer blushes, realizing her mistake, but the damage is done. Ruth spends the rest of the night hiding by the punch bowl, her cheeks burning with shame. Back home, she flops onto her faded floral couch, the one she's had since her teaching days at PS 47. The TV flickers on some late-night rerun of Wheel of Fortune, but she's not watching. She's replaying that moment in her head. Your daughter. The words sting like a slap. Ruth's only 68, not 88. She's not ready to be the little old lady everyone pities. She grabs a hand mirror from the coffee table, a relic from her mother's vanity set, and stares hard. The bags under her eyes sag like overstuffed grocery bags. Her lips are thin, cracked from years of neglecting chapstick. Her hair, once a thick chestnut mane kids used to tug on during story time, now looks like steel wool left out in the rain. "What happened to me?" she whispers, her voice breaking. It's not just vanity. Ruth knows aging is part of life. Heck, she's taught enough kids about the circle of life to accept that. But this feels unfair. She thinks back to Linda, to her other classmates who seemed to defy the years. What were they doing that she wasn't? She tosses the mirror aside and pulls out her phone, scrolling through blurry reunion pics someone posted on Facebook. There's Linda again, laughing with a group, her posture straight as a flagpole. There's Tom, another old friend, looking trim in a blazer, not a hint of the beer gut Ruth expected. And then there's Ruth, caught mid-sip, her sweater bunching around her middle, her face half shadowed but unmistakably tired. "I look like I've given up," she says aloud, the realization hitting her like a ton of bricks. That's when the questions start bubbling up. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, what's making me look older than I am? Ruth sure has. She's not a scientist or a doctor, but she's lived in Baltimore her whole life, born and raised near the gritty charm of Hampton, teaching kids in classrooms with peeling paint and windows that rattled in the winter. She's seen seniors who radiate youth and others who seem to fade before their time. What's the difference? She grabs a notepad, old teacher habits die hard, and starts jotting down what she's noticed about herself lately. The list grows fast. Her slow, shuffling walk that makes crossing Pratt Street feel like a marathon, the way she skips breakfast half the time and grabs fried chicken from Lexington Market. Instead, the nights, she stays up past midnight watching reruns instead of sleeping. Is this it? Is this why she's aging faster than her classmates? Ruth's no stranger to Baltimore's quirks. She knows the city's humid summers and biting winters can wreak havoc on skin. Hers is proof, dotted with sunspots from years of walking to school without sunscreen. She knows the corner stores tempt her with greasy fries and sweet tea, not exactly the fuel of youth. And she knows she hasn't stepped foot in a gym since PE was mandatory. But is that all it is? Bad habits piling up like the trash bags on North Avenue after a storm? Or is there more stuff she's missing? Stuff she could fix if she just knew how? She thinks about her daughter, Sarah, who lives across town in Mount Vernon with her own family. Sarah's 42, a busy mom, but she still finds time to jog along the inner harbor. Last Christmas, Sarah teased her, "Mom, you've got to get out more. You're turning into a hermit." Ruth laughed it off then, but now it stings. She's not a hermit, she's just comfortable. Too comfortable, maybe. She remembers a study she read about years ago in the Baltimore Sun, something from the Baltimore Longitudinal Study of Aging, the longest-running research on human aging right here in her city. It said little things like not moving enough or eating junk could age you faster than genetics. Was that her? Was she doing this to herself? The reunion keeps haunting her. She replays Linda's glow, Tom's confidence, and that caterer's innocent jab. Ruth's not delusional, she doesn't expect to look 30 again. But 68 shouldn't feel like 80, right? She stands up, her joints popping like firecrackers, and shuffles to the kitchen. The fridge hums, stocked with leftovers and a half-empty jug of sugary iced tea. She catches another glimpse of herself in the glass door, pale, hunched, a shadow of the woman who used to chase kids around the playground. "Enough," she mutters, slamming the fridge shut. "I'm not done yet." That night, Ruth lies awake, the glow of the streetlights seeping through her blinds. She's not sure where to start, but she knows one thing. Something's got to change. She's tired of feeling invisible, tired of letting time win. Have you ever felt that way, like you're fading and you don't know why? Ruth has. And as she drifts off, her notepad still clutched in her hand, she decides she's going to figure it out. Not just for her, but for every senior in Baltimore who's looked in the mirror and wondered, where did I go? Little does she know, she's about to uncover 7 sneaky aging errors, mistakes she's been making for years that are stealing her youth. And trust me, what she finds next will shock you. Ruth wakes up the morning after the reunion with a crick in her neck and a fire in her belly. The Baltimore sun streams through her Highlandtown row house window, painting the cracked plaster walls with a golden glow. She's still clutching that notepad from last night, her messy scrawl staring back at her. Slow walk. Junk food. No sleep. It's not much, but it's a start. She's determined to figure out why she looks and feels like she's racing toward 80 when she's only 68. If Linda can still bounce around like a kid, so can I, she mutters, hauling herself out of bed. Her knees groan in protest, but she ignores them. Today, she's on a mission. First stop, a walk to the Enoch Pratt Free Library a few blocks away. It's not far, maybe half a mile, but Ruth hasn't done it in months. She used to love those strolls, waving at neighbors, soaking in the hum of East Baltimore Street. Now, she barely makes it past the corner bodega before she's huffing like she's run a marathon. Her legs feel heavy, her back aches, and by the time she reaches the library steps, she's gripping the railing like it's a lifeline. She collapses onto a bench outside, sweat beading on her forehead despite the cool March breeze. This is ridiculous, she pants, watching a group of seniors, some older than her, stride past with water bottles and gym bags, chatting like they've got all the energy in the world. That's when it hits her. Aging error number 1: skipping exercise. Ruth hasn't moved her body on purpose since she retired 5 years ago. No walks in Patterson Park, no stretching, nothing. She thinks back to that Baltimore longitudinal study she read about, how it said losing muscle mass speeds up aging, makes you weaker, older looking, fast. She looks down at her arms, once strong enough to carry stacks of books for her students, now soft and sagging like dough. "I've let myself rust," she says aloud, half laughing at the absurdity. But it's not funny, not really. She sees those spry seniors disappearing around the corner and feels a pang of envy, so sharp it stings. Next up, lunch. Ruth shuffles into a diner on Pratt Street, the kind with chipped formica tables and a menu that hasn't changed since the 80s. She orders her usual fried chicken, mashed potatoes drowning in gravy, and a Coke full sugar, because why not? As she digs in, grease glistening on her fingers, she notices a woman at the next table, maybe 60, tops eating a salad with grilled salmon, sipping water with lemon. The woman's skin glows, her posture straight, and she's got this quiet confidence Ruth hasn't felt in years. Ruth glances at her own plate, suddenly aware of the heaviness settling in her stomach. Aging error number 2, eating like a teenager. She knows Baltimore's full of comfort food traps, crab cakes, pit beef, fries from every corner joint. But is that fried chicken aging her faster than time itself? She pulls out her phone, curiosity gnawing at her, and Googles it right there in the diner. Articles pop up, stuff from the National Institute on Aging. Studies saying too much processed junk piles on inflammation, dulls your skin, saps your energy. Ruth thinks about her diet. Takeout from Lexington Market, frozen pizzas, sugary tea. She hasn't cooked a real meal since Sarah moved out. No wonder I look like this, she mutters, pushing the plate away half-eaten. She catches her reflection in the diner window, pale, puffy, a face that screams, "I've given up." The woman with the salmon smiles at her, and Ruth forces a nod, but inside, she's reeling. How many years has she shaved off her life with every greasy bite? Later that afternoon, Ruth decides to tackle something else, her skin. She's heading to the Inner Harbor, just a short bus ride to clear her head. The sun's out, glinting off the water, and tourists are snapping selfies by the USS Constellation. Ruth used to love this spot, but today, she's hyper-aware of her face. She digs a compact out of her purse, an old one Sarah left behind, and checks herself in the tiny mirror. Wrinkles crease her forehead like a road map, sunspots dot her cheeks, and her neck looks like crumpled tissue paper. Aging error number 3, ignoring skincare. She never wore sunscreen, not in all those years walking to school, not during summers at Druid Hill Park. Baltimore's sun isn't shy, and neither is its humidity, but Ruth's idea of skincare was splashing water on her face and calling it a day. She remembers a dermatologist on TV once saying UV rays age you faster than almost anything, breaking down collagen, leaving you wrinkled and splotchy. Ruth touches her cheek, feeling the roughness, and winces. She looks around at the crowd, younger folks slathered in SPF, even some older ones with hats and shades. Why didn't I listen? She groans. A gust of wind off the harbor tugs at her brittle hair, and she tucks it behind her ear, noticing how thin it's gotten. Is that the food? The sun? All of it. She's starting to connect the dots, and it's not a pretty picture. Here's a quick pause in Ruth's story because I want to hear from you. If you're watching this far, drop a 2 in the comments below and tell me. Have you or someone you love ever fallen into one of these traps, skipping exercise, eating junk, forgetting sunscreen? Which one's the sneakiest for you? Hit that comment section. I'm reading every single one. Back to Ruth. She's sitting on a bench by the water, notepad in hand, scribbling these errors down like she's grading her own life. Exercise, diet, skin, she's 3 for 3, and none of them are passing. But then something catches her eye. A woman jogging past, gray hair tied back, maybe 70, with legs that move like they're 40. She's got earbuds in, a bounce in her step, and a face that says, "I'm still here." Ruth watches her disappear toward Federal Hill, and her chest tightens. That could have been her. Should have been her. She thinks of Linda again, glowing at the reunion, and wonders, what else am I missing? That night, Ruth's back home, sprawled on her couch with a glass of iced tea, less sugar this time. A tiny rebellion. She's flipping through channels when she lands on a health show, some doctor from Johns Hopkins talking about aging. He says something that sticks. Little choices add up. Skip the gym today, and it's fine. Skip it for a decade, and you're not just older, you're old. Ruth sets the glass down hard, ice clinking. A decade. She's been skipping for 5 years, halfway there. She looks at her notepad, those 3 errors staring back, and wonders how deep this rabbit hole goes. She's not done digging. Ruth's always been stubborn. Ask any kid she taught fractions to, and she's not stopping now. She grabs her phone again, scrolling X for local Baltimore chatter. She finds posts from seniors raving about free fitness classes at the Waxter Center, others swearing by farmers markets for fresh food. Maybe it's not too late, she whispers, hope flickering like a candle in the dark. But as she climbs the stairs to bed slowly, painfully, she knows there's more to uncover. 3 errors down, and she's already shaken. What's next? Have you ever realized you're aging yourself faster than you need to? Ruth's starting to, and trust me, what she finds tomorrow is going to flip her world upside down. Ruth wakes up to the sound of a garbage truck rumbling down her Highlandtown street, the clatter of cans jolting her out of a restless sleep. It's barely 7 a.m., but her eyes feel like sandpaper, and her head's pounding. She glances at the clock. 4 hours of sleep, tops. She'd stayed up past 2 a.m. again, sucked into a law-order marathon. Her only company the glow of the TV and the hum of the fridge. She drags herself to the bathroom, splashing cold water on her face, and catches her reflection in the mirror. Dark circles sag under her eyes like bruised fruit, her skin dull and tired. I look like I've been hit by a truck, she grumbles, half joking. But it's not funny, it's aging error number 4, skimping on sleep. She remembers that doctor on TV last night, the one from Johns Hopkins, saying sleep's not optional, it's glue that holds your body together. Miss it, and your brain fogs, your skin sags, your energy tanks. Ruth's been missing it for years, ever since retirement left her days unstructured and her nights endless. She shuffles to the kitchen, brewing coffee strong enough to wake the dead, and thinks about those seniors she saw yesterday jogging, laughing, alive. Do they sleep? She bets they do. She scribbles sleep on her notepad, the list growing like a bad report card, and wonders how many nights she's traded for reruns that don't even make her laugh anymore. Coffee in hand, Ruth decides to step outside. It's a gray Baltimore morning, the kind where the clouds hang low over the inner harbor and the air smells faintly of damp asphalt. She's not heading anywhere special, just down the block to the corner store, but as she walks, she feels it, the weight of being alone. No one waves. No one stops to chat. She used to know every face on this street, Mr. Carter with his yappy dog, Mrs. Lopez with her grandkids, but now? They've moved, or she stopped looking. Aging error number 5, shutting out the world. Ruth's social life shrunk to Sarah's occasional calls and the cashier at Royal Farms who knows her cigarette brand she quit years ago, but he still asks. She thinks about her old book club at the library, how she loved debating Austen and Hemingway over stale cookies. She stopped going after her husband passed, telling herself she was too busy, too tired. But the truth? She didn't want the pitying looks, the "how are you holding up?" questions. Now, she's a ghost in her own neighborhood, invisible among the bustle of East Baltimore Street. Studies she's skimmed like one from the NIA say isolation ages you faster, spiking stress, dimming your spark. Ruth feels that dimness in her bones, a loneliness that's settled in like damp in the walls of her row house. Back home, she flops onto the couch, the floral fabric worn thin from years of her weight. Her mind's spinning sleep, solitude. The list keeps growing, but it's not just her body that's crumbling. It's her head. She's been worrying more lately about money, about Sarah's kids, about the leak in the ceiling she can't afford to fix. She catches herself chewing her lip, a nervous tic from her teaching days, and realizes, aging error number 6, letting stress run the show. Her shoulders are tight, her jaw clenched, her thoughts a hamster wheel of what-ifs. She remembers a free meditation class flyer she saw at the Waxter Center, ignored it, of course. Now, she wonders if that's why her face looks pinched, why her energy's gone before noon. Ruth's notepad's filling up fast, 6 errors, each one a punch to the gut. But there's one more, and it hits her like a freight train when she opens her closet that afternoon. She's looking for something to wear to Sarah's place tomorrow, a rare visit, and pulls out a sweater. It's mustard yellow, pilled and shapeless, something she's worn since the 90s. She digs deeper. Faded slacks, a dress with shoulder pads, a coat that smells like mothballs. Aging error number 7, dressing like time stopped. Ruth hasn't updated her style in decades. She looks at herself in the full-length mirror, baggy clothes swallowing her frame, colors that wash her out, and groans. "I'm a walking relic," she says, tossing the sweater back. Linda at the reunion wore a crisp blazer, Tom a sharp polo. Ruth? She's stuck in a time capsule, and it's not flattering. She's reeling from these revelations, 7 errors, 7 nails in her aging coffin when the phone rings. It's Sarah. "Mom, there's a free yoga class tomorrow at MedStar Health near Mount Vernon. Come with me, it'll be fun." Ruth hesitates, her mind flashing to her creaky knees, her frumpy outfit. "I don't know, honey. I'm not exactly fit for yoga." Sarah laughs. "Oh, come on. It's for seniors. You'll love it." Ruth's about to say yes, she wants to, desperately, when Sarah adds, "They're super welcoming, even if you're not in top shape." It's innocent, sweet, but it lands like a brick. Not in top shape. Ruth mumbles a maybe and hangs up, her throat tight. That's when the crisis hits. Ruth decides to test herself. She'll walk to the community center, sign up for that yoga class in person. She pulls on her least worn sneakers, grabs her coat, and heads out. It's a mile, maybe less, but halfway there, her legs give out. She stumbles on a cracked sidewalk near Canton, gasping for breath, and a woman, maybe 50, fit as a fiddle, rushes over. "Ma'am, are you okay? Should I call someone?" Ruth waves her off, humiliated. She makes it to the center, sweat-soaked and shaky, and finds the yoga sign-up desk. The instructor, a kind-faced woman with gray streaks in her hair, looks her up and down. "Oh, honey," she says gently, "this class might be a bit much for you right now. We've got a chair yoga group next month, maybe start there?" Ruth's world cracks open. Too much for her. She's 68, not 98. She mumbles a thank you and staggers outside, collapsing onto a bench near the Patterson Park Pagoda. The tears come fast, hot, angry, helpless. She's surrounded by joggers, dog walkers, life buzzing around her, but she feels like a fossil. "Is this it?" She sobs, her voice lost in the wind. "Am I too late?" The 7 errors flash through her mind: exercise, diet, skin, sleep, isolation, stress, style, like a checklist of failures. She sees Linda's glow, Sarah's jogs, that jogger from yesterday, and hates herself for letting it all slip away. She sits there, alone, as dusk settles over Baltimore. The pagoda's silhouette looms against a bruised sky, and a siren wails in the distance. Another night in the city she loves, but feels lost in. Ruth's not sure she can climb out of this hole. Have you ever wondered if age is just a number, or if it's a cage you build yourself? Ruth's staring at that cage now, bars forged by years of neglect, and she's terrified they're locked for good. But as she wipes her eyes, a tiny spark flickers: anger, maybe hope. She's not ready to surrender. Not yet. What happens next? Oh, it's going to shake her to her core, and maybe you too. Ruth sits on that bench near the Patterson Park Pagoda, the cold seeping through her threadbare coat, her tears drying into salty streaks. The Baltimore skyline glimmers faintly across the Harbor Oriole Park's lights, the Domino Sugar's sign glowing like a beacon, but she feels miles away from the city she's always called home. Last night's rejection at the yoga class still burns. "Too much for you right now." The words echo, a cruel taunt. She's 68, not dead, but her body's screaming otherwise. 7 aging errors: exercise, diet, skin, sleep, isolation, stress, style have piled up like bricks, and she's buried under them. But as a streetlight flickers on, casting a soft glow over the pagoda's curves, something shifts. "No," she whispers, fist clenching. "I'm not done." The next morning, Ruth's up before dawn, unheard of for her. She's shaky but determined, her notepad clutched like a battle plan. She Googles senior programs Baltimore and stumbles on the Center for Successful Aging at MedStar Health, a local gem she's never heard of. Free classes, nutrition tips, community, it's all there, a lifeline in her own backyard. She calls, her voice trembling, and a chipper woman named Marla answers. "Come in today," Marla says. "We've got a walking group at Druid Hill Park, perfect for beginners." Ruth hesitates, her legs still ache from yesterday, but Marla's warmth pulls her in. Okay, she says. I'll try. Druid Hill's a short bus ride away, its rolling green hills dotted with oaks and the glimmer of the reservoir. Ruth steps off the bus, her sneakers scuffing the pavement, and spots the group 10 seniors, some with canes, all smiling. Marla's there, gray curls bouncing, and she waves Ruth over like an old friend. Just go at your pace, she says. Ruth nods, doubtful, but starts walking. 5 minutes in, she's panting, but the group cheers her on. You got this, Ruth. And she keeps going. 30 minutes later, she's sweaty, sore, and grinning. Error number 1, exercise. She's chipping away at it. The National Institute on Aging says even light movement rebuilds muscle. She feels that spark in her legs already. Next, food. Ruth's tired of fried chicken and guilt. She heads to the Lexington Market after the walk, a Baltimore staple buzzing with vendors. She bypasses the fry stands tempting, oh so tempting, and finds a stall with fresh kale, tomatoes, and grilled fish. First time? The vendor asks, eyeing her mustard yellow sweater. Ruth nods, sheepish. Try this, he says, handing her a sample of salmon. It's light, flavorful, nothing like her greasy go-tos. She buys a bagful, inspired by an NIA tip she read. Good nutrition fights inflammation, keeps you young. Error number 2, diet. She's rewriting the menu, one veggie at a time. Back home, Ruth's on a roll. She digs through Sarah's old bathroom stuffed jackpot, a tube of SPF 30 sunscreen, barely used. She slathers it on, remembering those sunspots from years at Inner Harbor with no protection. Error number 3, skincare? Check. She's not expecting miracles, but as she rubs it in, she feels proactive, not helpless. That night, she sets an alarm, 10 p.m. bedtime, no excuses. No TV, just a book from her teaching days, To Kill a Mockingbird. She's asleep by 10:30, waking up at 7 feeling rested. Error number 4, sleep? Conquered. Studies say it repairs your body. She sees it in the mirror, her eyes brighter, less puffy. But it's not just physical fixes. Ruth's soul's been starving too. She calls her old book club friend, Diane, voice shaky. Hey, it's Ruth. Can I come back? Diane's thrilled. We've missed you. And that Thursday, Ruth's at the Enoch Pratt Library, debating The Great Gatsby over coffee. She laughs for the first time in months, her shoulders loosening as the group pulls her in. Error number 5, isolation? Gone. She's not a ghost anymore, she's part of something. The NIA's right. Connection lifts your spirit, keeps you young. Stress is tougher. Ruth's mind's a battlefield. Money worries, that leaky ceiling, but she remembers the Waxter Center flyer. She signs up for a free meditation class, nervous but curious. Sitting cross-legged in a room of seniors, she follows the instructor's calm voice. Breathe in, breathe out. 10 minutes in, her jaw unclenches, her chest lightens. Error number 6, stress? She's learning to tame it, one breath at a time. Science backs her up. Stress ages your cells, calm heals them. Then, the big one, style. Ruth's wardrobe's a time machine to 1995, and she's done with it. She takes a bus to Harbor East, Baltimore's chic spot, her heart pounding. She's never shopped here, but Sarah's birthday cash is burning a hole in her pocket. At a boutique, a young clerk named Jasmine helps her pick a navy blazer, slim jeans, and a scarf that pops against her gray hair. You look sharp, Jasmine says, and Ruth blushes. In the mirror, she stands taller, her frumpy shell shed. Error number 7, style? Fixed. She's not a relic, she's Ruth, redefined. The climax comes a month later. Ruth's walking daily now, eating cleaner, sleeping better, glowing from sunscreen and friendship. She's back at MedStar for a check-in, and Marla gasps. Ruth, you're a different person. Her skin's smoother, her posture's straighter, her energy's electric. She's dropped 10 pounds, not the goal, just a bonus, and feels 10 years younger. She signs up for that yoga class, the one she was too weak for, and nails it, downward dog and all. The instructor hugs her. You're a rock star. Ruth's high lasts until Sarah suggests a mini reunion, just a few classmates at her Mount Vernon row house. Ruth hesitates. Linda will be there, but she agrees. She walks in, Blazer crisp, scarf tied just so, and the room goes quiet. Linda's jaw drops. Ruth? You look amazing. Tom nods, grinning. What's your secret? Ruth laughs, a real belly laugh. No secret, just fixing what I broke. They snap a photo Ruth in the center, radiant, and when it hits Facebook, comments flood in. You're glowing. How'd you do it? She's not invisible anymore. She's a spark. That night, Ruth stands by her window, the Patapsco River glinting under the moon. She's not perfect, her knees still creak. Her worries linger, but she's alive again. 7 errors, 7 fixes, and a truth she's learned. Aging's not the enemy, neglect is. She thinks of you watching this, yes, you, and wonders. What's your first step? Exercise? A salad? A phone call? Start somewhere, she'd tell you, her voice steady now. You'll be shocked what happens next. Ruth stands on the banks of the Patapsco River, the late March breeze tugging at her new scarf, a bright teal one she picked up in Harbor East, a splash of color against the gray Baltimore sky. It's been 6 weeks since that mini reunion. 6 weeks since Linda's jaw hit the floor and Tom asked for her secret. The sun's dipping low, painting the water with streaks of gold, and Ruth's smiling, not a forced grin, but the kind that reaches her eyes, crinkling the corners in a way that feels earned. She's 68, but she's not the Ruth who shuffled into that high school reunion, invisible and ashamed. She's a woman reborn, and this riverbank moment? It's her victory lap. It started small, those fixes to the 7 aging errors she'd uncovered. Walking at Druid Hill Park turned into a daily ritual, her sneakers pounding the paths until her legs stopped complaining and started thanking her. She swapped fried chicken for kale and salmon from Lexington Market, her kitchen now a battlefield of chopped veggies and sizzling pans. Sunscreen's her new best friend, SPF 30, slathered on every morning, protecting skin that's slowly shedding its sunspots. She's sleeping by 10 p.m., no more law order marathons, waking up to birds chirping outside her Highlandtown window instead of a pounding head. Her book club's back in her life, filling Thursday nights with laughter and debate. She's not a ghost anymore. Meditation's tamed her stress, those what-ifs quieter now. And her wardrobe? Gone are the 90s relics. She's rocking jeans and blazers that make her feel sharp, not stuck. But it's more than that. Ruth's not just fixing mistakes, she's rewriting her story. She pulls out her phone, scrolling through that reunion photo Sarah posted. There she is, smack in the middle, glowing like she's borrowed Linda's light and made it her own. The comments still pour in. Ruth, you're an inspiration. Teach me your ways. And she started replying, timid at first, then bold. It's not magic, she types. It's choices. She's even launched a little blog, Ruth's Reboot, sharing her journey with tips cribbed from the Center for Successful Aging and her own grit. Her first post, 7 Things I Wish I'd Known at 60, went up last week, and Sarah says it's practically viral with 200 views. Ruth laughs at that. Viral's a stretch, but it's a start. Her family's noticed too. Sarah drags her to yoga now, the two of them giggling through warrior poses at MedStar Health. Her grandkids Ella, 8, and Max, 6, run circles around her at Patterson Park, shouting, "Grandma, you're fast." She's not fast, not really, but she keeps up, her heart pounding with pride instead of exhaustion. Last weekend, Ella hugged her and said, "You look happy, Grandma." Ruth nearly cried right there on the playground, the weight of those words sinking in. Happy. She hasn't felt that in years, not since her husband's laugh filled their row house, not since her classroom buzzed with kids' voices. Now, it's back, and she's holding it tight. Ruth's become a quiet legend in her circle. Linda called last week, sheepish. "Okay, Ruth, spill it, I need your energy." They met at a Fells Point cafe, Ruth in her blazer, Linda scribbling notes as Ruth explained. Walks, veggies, sleep, friends. Tom's joined her walking group, grumbling about his knees but sticking with it. Even Marla from MedStar's floored. She's got Ruth leading warm-ups now, calling her our poster child. Ruth blushes at that, but she loves it. She's not just living, she's lifting others up, proof that 68 isn't a finish line unless you let it be. She's standing by the river now, the Patapsco's current steady and strong, like her. She thinks about that Baltimore longitudinal study she read ages ago, how little changes stack up, how muscle rebuilds, how connection heals. It's not theory anymore, it's her life. Her skin smoother, her posture straighter, her energy's a flame that won't flicker out. She's dropped 15 pounds not chasing numbers, just a perk, and feels 20 years lighter. She catches her reflection in the water, not perfect, not young, but alive. I'm not just surviving, she whispers. I'm thriving. Ruth's mind drifts to you, yes, you, watching this. She'd look right at you if she could, her hazel eyes steady, and say, I was fading, but I fought back. What's stopping you? She knows the excuse is too busy, too tired, too late. She lived them. But here's the truth she's learned, hard and clear. Those 7 errors: exercise, diet, skin, sleep, isolation, stress, style aren't fate. They're choices you can flip, one by one, until you're not just older, but better. She thinks about Baltimore seniors, shuffling through Fells Point or Highlandtown, and wishes she could grab them all, shake them awake. You don't have to fade, she'd say. Not yet. She pulls out her phone again, snapping a selfie by the river. Her gray hair's tied back, her scarf catches the light, and her smile's wide reel. She posted to her blog with a caption, Day 42 of fighting back. What's your day one? Sarah texts her 5 minutes later, Mom, you're a rock star. Ruth laughs, loud enough that a jogger glances over, and she doesn't care. She's not invisible anymore, she's a spark, a flame, a force. She thinks of the free programs she's found: Waxter Center classes, library meetups, farmers markets, and wants you to find yours too. Baltimore's full of them, and so's your town, wherever you are. As the sun sinks lower, Ruth starts walking home, her steps brisk, her head high. She's not naive, age still creaks in her joints, whispers in her quieter moments, but it's not winning. Not today. She passes a group of seniors on Eastern Avenue, some hunched, some slow, and smiles at them. Try one thing, she wants to say. You'll be amazed. She's living proof. Fix the errors, reclaim the years. Her blog's next post is brewing, maybe how Baltimore saved me, and she's itching to write it, to share this fire. Ruth reaches her row house, the porch light flickering on like it's welcoming her back. She pauses, looking out at the city she loves, its grit, its heart, its pulse. She's part of it again, not a shadow on its edges. She thinks of you one last time, her voice echoing in her head. Start today, a walk, a veggie, a call. What's holding you back? She unlocks her door, steps inside, and feels it. She's not just older. She's alive. And trust me, that's a story worth telling and living.